Hi, so this is the vlog and podcast for Zimmer and Peacock for the week ending the 9th of January 2021. So the first bit of news that I wanted to sort of discuss here is that ZP is an unusual company that we have actually got a history of investing in clients. Now, our investment always follows the fact that somebody is a client. We don't invest in people who are sort of essentially have no money and then are looking for money to get started. But what we have, people come to us, they're interacting with us, they're buying products, they may be getting services from us, and because at that point, then we know the companies quite well. It allows us to potentially be an investor in them. I've sort of the kind of things where we have done types of investments are we have invested in our longest running clients. That's a fact. We've helped over 5 entrepreneurs launch their own businesses. We've bought the assets from, unfortunately, struggling companies and taken on the staff. So we've essentially bailed out companies at that point. We have licensed technologies from universities. Oxford is in the public domain, for example. And we have formed joint ventures with a range of clients on their sort of go-to-market strategy. So we do have a history of investing in clients. Some other news from this week is that we're also sending some gold screen printed electrodes to the University of Oxford. They've had these electrodes in the past, but they've asked us for some for a particular R&D project, so we're happy to essentially be doing that. Now, some other news from Zimmer and Peacock for this week is we also put a video out there about looking at analytical performance. So Julie is a very powerful database. Julie is a free database from Zimmer and Peacock, which is for sort of uploading data, analyzing data, and sharing data. It's most configured at the moment for electrochemical data, but we do see the tools being much more generic than just electrochemical, but it is at the moment sort of optimized for electrochemical data. But in order to do a submission to the FDA or do CE marking, we have to follow some clinical and laboratory standards institute standards. They have something called EP06A and EP05A3, and we follow those, and we've built those really into Julie and validated that the statistical algorithms that we've implemented in Julie are validated and do what they need to do in order to follow those CLSI standards. So we're quite happy that Julie has that capability. So if you are interested in doing FDA and CE marking, Julie can also be useful for you in those endeavors. Just a little bit of news. When you're developing biosensors, it's not always just about the sensor itself. You have to make a lot of auxiliary pieces to help you maybe just contact the sensors. Because we have such a strong engineering team, these guys are able to kind of 3D print molds and do things like silicone injection and make little pieces in order to help us in our biosensor work. So it's both appreciated the skill of these guys, and it does show you really how hard it can be to do a proper biosensor development effort. We did our webinar to the members of our ZP Developer Zone this week. We talked about PCB, printed circuit boards, as biosensors, and we also talked about type 1 and type 2, generation 1 and generation 2 glucose sensors. So some news there. We did have an inquiry this week about electrodes from microwells. So microwells, there's some type. The typical microwell has 96 wells in it, and people do little experiments within those wells. And it is useful to have electrodes in those wells for some areas of science, and we find that very interesting and very intriguing. So we did a video about the use of PCBs in those kind of microwell applications, and at some point I'm pretty sure a product will come out of us around that. But we did discuss that this week. another thing that the engineers did this week was they were starting to print some accessories for our screen printed electrodes. So hopefully we'll get some videos up next week about how to use these accessories. But they did, they're a smart bunch, the engineers at Zimmer Peacock, and they designed some little accessories and then they 3D printed those accessories as well, and they should support our screen printed electrodes. So we definitely appreciate that. And then the last piece of news this year is we very much like having our interns inject youth, enthusiasm, energy and new ideas into the business, and so we like having our interns, and I think they're generally having all of them are having a very happy time with us at Zimmer and Peacock. So we're happy when they leave nice comments with us, which is what they've done. So thank you very much for the interns. All right, so that's the news from Zimmer and Peacock for this week. We will have our webinar on Thursday, which we do, and we will also do this vlog next Sunday at the same time. Okay, thanks very much.